I declare this meeting of the Midnight Society closed. Oh, fuck. Hey, everybody. What is up? It's me, Jane Coffee Beans, or Violet, whatever you want to call me, really. Been called worse. So you're probably wondering why my aesthetic looks a little different tonight. And that's because I'm going to be talking about my top 10 comfort movies. Now, just a heads up, when I say comfort movies, I mean the movies that when I'm in a bad mood, when I'm feeling sad, even when I'm feeling happy, and I just want something that warms my soul, these are the movies that I would go to. I'm going to dive right into it. Number 10, these aren't really in any specific order either, because honestly, it just depends on my mood. So, number 10 is 1984's Gremlins, directed by Joe Dante. That's right, the man that directed Looney Tunes Back in Action and Small Soldiers. That's not what you should know him for. He also directed The Howling and The Burbs, which is one of my all-time favorite Tom Hanks movies, if not my favorite. Because Carrie fucking Fisher is in it. Ugh. If you don't know the plot of Gremlins, it's about a man who is a wacky inventor and brings home his son a present that no one else has, and that is a small, fluffy, adorable, perfect Mogwai. So there are 3 rules. Don't get them wet, don't feed them after midnight, and don't let them hit the sunlight. It burns. Naturally, all of those things happen, though, at one point or another in the movie, and we get chaos. It's a good family-friendly horror movie. I was pretty obsessed with Stripe. He's still my favorite to this day, and I consider it my favorite Christmas movie as well. If you guys want to list my favorite Christmas movies come the appropriate time, let me know, because I have a ton of them. Christmas horror movies, that is. Number 9 is 2007's Trick or Treat. This movie is the epitome of Halloween in one film. This is directed by Michael Dougherty. I think it Dougherty. Sorry. Who also did another one of my favorite Christmas horror movies, Krampus. And that almost made it on the list because that movie spans time for me and I can watch it any time of year. It's a couple of short stories that are so delicately and perfectly intertwined. It has a pretty all-star cast, or maybe I just love Anna Paquin and...
Don't love him that much.
The aesthetic for this movie is kind of what I want my aesthetic to be. It's beautiful. It's a work of art. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. Next is 1982's Friday the 13th Part 3. That's right, Part 3. It's my favorite Friday the 13th movie in the entire franchise. It's directed by Steve Miner, who also did House, which is a really great, fun, wacky, weird B-horror movie. Friday the 13th Part 2 and H20, or Halloween, H2O, whatever you want to call it. Friday the 13th Part 3 is just a ton of fun. I think Tom Savini was at his absolute wackiness with the special effects because he had to utilize the 3D element into it. And it's got one of my favorite final girls, Chris. She is a beast. Next on the list is 1989's Pet Sematary. Oh, Pet Sematary. It's just the best. It's not really the best. I know a lot of people have a problem with this movie, but I personally adore it. It's probably just because there's a perfectly adorable undead cat in it. He's so cute though. But I mean, honestly, I've read the book. The book is incredible. I saw the remake. There were things that I enjoyed in that. Maybe that's when I need to give a third chance because I've seen it twice now. We're talking about the original here. The original was one of those movies that I did not appreciate when I was younger. My friends and I rented it, and all my friends were scared shitless at a sleepover in middle school, and I thought it was super boring, super lame, and all I cared about was the cat. The acting is very mediocre. Also, freaking Herman Munster plays Judd Crandall. Herman Munster. Sometimes that is better. If Eric really thought I was going to get through this video without doing a Judd Crandall impersonation, he was wrong. The next movie we'll be talking about is 1987's Hellraiser, directed by none other than Clive Barker. Hellraiser is also one of those movies that I wasn't a huge fan of as a kid, but grew to absolutely adore. The special effects in this movie are fucking mind-blowing to me. It is just so beautiful and gory and dark and twisted and fucked up, and I love every second of it. It's one of those I truly just enjoy watching for the special effects, and the final girl is such a badass. Love her. Also, just watch 2 and you can skip all the rest, especially that one where Hellraiser or Pinhead put on a couple of the LBs, if you know what I mean. Next up is one I rewatched pretty recently, and that is 1988's They Live, directed by none other than John Carpenter, the man, the myth, the legend. It stars Rowdy Roddy Piper and Keith Davids, and they have one of the best fight scenes in horror movie history, dare I say. It's about a man who is homeless and is having trouble finding a job, so he works at a construction site and somehow stumbles upon a box of sunglasses that show him America's true form, consumerism. I need a sip of my tea. Ooh, so good. Next up is 2002's Cabin Fever, directed by my high school heartthrob, Eli Roth. I used to rent this film with one of my best friends in middle school and high school, Paige, and we would watch it nonstop. Cabin Fever is about a group of college kids, I think, going on spring break to a cabin in the woods. They come in contact with a flesh-eating disease. It's super gross. It is super wild. It doesn't hold up quite as well in modern times. There's some pretty odd dialogue sequences. Check it out. It's gory, it's gross, it's fun. Eli Roth is fucking great. All right, we're winding down. We're in the top 3. So, number 3 is also one I've rewatched recently, and that is 2012's American Mary. American Mary came to me at the perfect time in my life. I don't know how else to describe it other than it's definitely what I needed. It's directed by the Soska sisters, or the Twisted Twins as you might know them. They are the sweetest, most down-to-earth and amazing people I've ever met. They're great. And they put so much love into their movies. Mary Mason is a med school student studying to become a surgeon until she is assaulted by one of her professors. She falls into the world of body modification. It is a beautiful, artsy body horror film. My number 1 Scream Queen. I said Mia in my video the other day from the Evil Dead remake, but it's gotta go to Catherine Isabel. She was in one of my favorite TV shows of all time. She's in my favorite werewolf movie and like top 10 horror movies of all time. She's phenomenal, and this movie is no different. It's actually one of my favorite performances ever. She's great. Next up is kind of a curveball here. It is 2003's House of a Thousand Corpses, my favorite Rob Zombie film next to Lords of Salem. That's right, I fucking said it. Lords of Salem, honestly, is interchangeable with this one as well. But House of a Thousand Corpses, if you haven't heard of it because you live under a rock, is a Rob Zombie film, and it stars Sherry Moon Zombie, naturally, Karen Black, Bill Moseley as Otis Driftwood, and then it also stars, did I say Rainn Wilson, or am I just still shocked that Rainn Wilson is in this movie? It also stars Chris Hardwick, but I have feelings about Chris Hardwick that I won't go into detail here, but let's just say the scalping scene is a lot more gratifying nowadays. Sid Haig, his performance of Captain Spaulding is just one of the funniest, coolest things I've ever seen in my life. He was so incredible, and he's so missed, really. Like, hurts my heart a little bit. Anyways, House of a Thousand Corpses is just wild, out there, so violent. So violent. Has some great one-liners and is so quotable. It's just a good time. It's entertaining to me in the fact that it's fucked up and disturbing in all the right ways. It also has Walton Goggins. He's great. And that leads us to my number 1 comfort movie of all time. It's The Craft. The Craft was a game changer for me. Is there really anyone that hasn't seen The Craft?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I'm so struck by you.
What?
I said I'm so struck by you.
The Craft is about a teenage girl named Sarah who moves to a small town, I assume. I don't know. She winds up going to a private school, though, and meeting 3 other girls who are just as weird and odd, if not more weird and odd and out there than she is. And that is Bonnie, Rochelle, and Nancy, played by Fairuza Balk, my fucking queen. This movie also stars Nev Campbell and Skeet Ulrich, who... No, I'm not going to make a catfish joke. And it turns out that they're all fucking witches. And it's so 90s. It's so 90s that the Charmed theme song is in it. Oh, so good. I am pretty positive it is on Netflix. It was. It's great. It's kick-ass. It is just women, being awesome. Freaking witches. I would be totally lying if I said that this movie didn't still make me want to become a witch. My 2 runner-ups are gonna go to Paranormal Activity. That is a movie that absolutely terrified me, but I haven't been able to stop watching it ever since I saw it. Then we are going to go to one that's also probably way more controversial than Paranormal Activity, and that is House of Wax, the remake, starring Paris Hilton and Jared Padalecki and Chad Michael Murray. I think his name is Chad Michael Murray. That movie is not good. It's pretty trashy, but it is super fun. The soundtrack is great. And it's just mindless, senseless horror nonsense. It's the only horror movie I've ever seen, besides The Ring 2, which is an odd one. I've never seen a theater erupt into such blissful applause over one kill. It's fun. It's dumb. And the last one is going to be Bride of Chucky. I love the soundtrack in this movie. I love how excruciatingly 90s it is. It's got John Ritter and Katherine Heigl. Odd flex, but okay. But most importantly, it's the first time we get to see Jennifer Tilly play Tiffany. And that's really all that matters to me. I could watch Jennifer Tilly read a fucking dictionary. Anyways, that is all of my top 10 comfort movies. Drop what your favorite comfort movies are down in the comments. Yeah, that's what they're called. The comments below. And let me know how you feel about my comfort movies. If you hate some, let me know. I want to know why. Next up, I believe we have a movie I've lied about seeing. Oh, bonus little note here. One of the movies I've lied about seeing, I mentioned in this video. On that note, though, always check your candy and don't blow out your pumpkins, right? Your jack-o'-lanterns. Don't blow your jack-o'-lantern. I hope you enjoyed. Adios, amigos. Is that my new thing now? Is it adios, amigos? Bye.